Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Big time tennis is back. That means only one thing. The Australian Open is here, first Grand Slam of the year for the ATP side. We're going to be doing the draw and do a preview and prediction video for every single match. And, well, the first round anyway. And then I'll give you guys my predicted winner for each match, and then we'll work our way through the draw and eventually give you guys my winner. It's pretty stacked, I have to say. And I've just done the WTA one, and that was absolutely booming with incredible matchups. I haven't looked at this draw in very minute detail. I had a quick scan. There's some really good matchups we're going to get into in a second. But from what I can gather from very vaguely looking at the draw, and I've actually got some projected paths for the top 5 seeds. I mean, if you're a Djokovic fan, you'll be pretty happy, I think. I mean, look, he's a favourite anyway, no matter what the draw is. But he's got to qualify first round. I'll go through the projected paths and we'll go through the draw match by match. Second round, Popper. Third round, Murray. Fourth round, Shelton. I mean, that should be no problem, all of those matches. Tsitsipas quarter final. Again, no issues there. Sorry, Steph. Semi-final of Sinner. Final of Alcaraz. So that tells me that the top half of the draw, at least from Novak Djokovic's point of view, is not too bad. He's only got Sinner, and he can only meet in the semi-final, so that's all right. Alcaraz, if you're an Alcaraz fan, I think he's got a pretty tough draw. Gasquet first round's not easy, but he should win. Sonego again should win that. Bublik could be a tough one. Again, should win that though. Tommy Paul fourth round could be tricky, but he should win it. Although they tend to have pretty difficult physical battles. Paul's beaten him in the past. Zverev quarterfinals tough. Medvedev semi-final tough. Final Djokovic tough. From the quarterfinals onwards, I'd argue the fourth round onwards is really tough. Alcaraz. Rune is also in a pretty difficult position, in honesty. He's got Nishioka first round, Ager second round, Greek Sport third round, Catch fourth round, Medvedev quarterfinal, Alcaraz semi-final, Djokovic final. I mean, Catch is not easy in the fourth round. Rune's got a difficult one as well. Fourth round onwards, it's going to be very, very tough. From looking at it, the bottom half of the draw looks a lot more stacked than the top half in terms of contenders for the title anyway. And Sinner and Medvedev, we haven't done them as well. Medvedev, qualifier, Rusevori, FA, Dimitrov, Rune, Alcaraz, Djokovic. I mean, from Dimitrov onwards, round of 16, that's tough. FA might not even make it out of his first round match. I think he's got Dominic Thiem. Go through that in a second. I mean, it could be difficult, I guess. But Medvedev's got a difficult route as well, in honesty. And again, he's in that bottom half. So Medvedev, Alcaraz, and Rune are all in the bottom half. Sinner and Djokovic in the top half. Sinner's got Van der Zandschulp, Kachin, Baez, Khachanov, Rublev, Djokovic, Alcaraz. Rublev's in the top half as well. Sorry, Rublev, but it's not the same, is it? He could be tough, but I just have a feeling he might do better at Roland Garros than the Australian Open. He's dangerous. Not for Djokovic, though. Let's be honest. I mean, there's not many players that are dangerous for Djokovic, in honesty. So I'm kind of saying it. It's not Djokovic's fault. Like, when we say he's got an easy draw, a lot of that is not even down to the caliber of players in terms of speaking about them from a general ATP tour level sense. It's just because he's got such great records against them and against everyone, really, for the most part. There's only literally 2 or 3 players that you can see potentially beating him. Everyone else, they're almost like cannon fodder for him. But yeah, so Sinner's got Rublev and Djokovic, Alcaraz, so that'll be the final. All right. Okay. Let's get into it. So Novak Djokovic qualify, he'll get through that, so we'll pick him there. Popper should get through Polmans. Hanfman, Monfils. Now, I would like to say Monfils gets through this, so I'm going to go for Monfils, but Hanfman can be tricky. Andy Murray's also got a pretty tricky first-round opponent in Echeverry, in all honesty, and I know someone picked Murray in the projected path for Djokovic, but in all honesty, Echeverry's a seed. Not only is he a seed, but he's a pretty tough customer. He's a young, talented player. I'm going to go for Murray, but in honesty, he could easily lose it. Then the battle of the veterans in Mannarino, who's seeded at 20 now. He is the oldest player ever to make a debut in the top 20 of the ATP Tour ever. I mean, insane. And good on him as well. He's got such an interesting style, hasn't he? Very unique. He's playing Stan Wawrinka. I'm going to go for Stan. Mannarino could get through this, though. He's very tricky. Stan might find it a bit awkward, but I'm going to go for Wawrinka. Stanimal. Shevchenko, I'm going to go for Shevchenko. O'Connell, Garin. We have Christian Garin. Weird. Actually, no, I'll go for O'Connell. Shelton's come through RBA. That's not an easy first round there, by the way, for Shelton, because RBA is no slouch, in honesty. So it could be a tough first round, but he should get through it. Prince to beat Diaz Acosta. Oh, Carballes Baena or Goho. Carballes Baena. Marijan's got a tough one. The conqueror of Alcaraz, of course, in Rome last year. He plays Marin Cilic in a first-round matchup, which is exciting. Cilic, former US Open champion. Marijan's just trying to do his bits on the ATP Tour. A couple of big notable wins, including one against Monfils recently as well. So he's notching up some good names. Cilic, I have no idea what he's going to be like, in honesty. So it's very tough to call this one. I'm actually going to go for Marijan to cause the upset. Strundalo to beat a qualifier. Massetti should come through Bonzi. Duckworth to beat Van Asch. Van Asch, actually, he's not a bad player. Good little young player. No, I'll go Van Asch. Thompson to beat Vukic. Of course, beating Nadal recently, who is not playing this event, so that's the biggest omission on the ATP side. And then this is, in my opinion, probably the match of the first round. A ridiculously good matchup between Matteo Berrettini and Stefano Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas, the final from last year. He's made multiple semifinals as well. Berrettini is semifinalist a few years ago. Berrettini was in the top 10 maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, so not that long ago. And he finds himself unseeded coming up against the number 7 seed. This is a really, really tough match for Steph because it depends on how Berrettini's looking, and I have almost no clue how he's doing fitness-wise. If he's fit, Berrettini, this is a 50-50. Honestly, both players have big serves, big forehands. The backhands are definitely a weakness. Berrettini's got a better slice, though. At the net, I'd say Steph is a bit better. Steph moves better as well. Defensively, probably Steph as well is a little bit better. But Berrettini's serve, I think, is quite a bit better than Steph's by a little bit. But the +1 forehand, on the other hand, from Steph is better. So, you know, they've kind of similar-ish styles of play. It's not exactly the same, but I just don't know what Berrettini turns up. I'm going to go for Steph. He clearly likes the Australian Open. He's got great results, 2 semi-finals, I think, or 3, and then also a final last year. So we'll go for Steph, but it's a tough one. As I said, it just depends on how fit Berrettini is. If he's fit, if he's fully fit, that's got 4 or 5 sets written all over it, no matter who wins. Sinner's got a pretty tough proposition for a first round with Van der Zandt and Schulp, in honesty, but I'll go for Sinner. He should come through it, but what Sinner needs to be careful of, and what he didn't do very well in 2023, and he needs to, in my opinion, resolve in 2024, is making sure that he is coming through the first few rounds of slams with no scars, no real tough, long 4 or 5 set matches that are grueling. He needs to be clinical, try and make quick work of them so that he is then fit, because we know with Sinner, one of the biggest things is, do we think he can last a whole slam? And he's got to a semi-final now. Can he go beyond that? Let's see. Cashin has a qualifier. Kubler to beat Galan. He's a wild card. I'm going to go for Kubler. JJ Wolf, Baez. I'm going to go for JJ Wolf. Although Baez is solid, you know. Francis TFO to beat Borna Choric, although you know what, though? That's a tough one for TFO. Choric is a nightmare for almost anyone in a first round matchup, that is. I'm going to go with him. Don't know, we'll see. Machak and Tabilo have got qualifiers. Altmaier, Hachinov. What a matchup that is. Altmaier and Hachinov. That's underrated, you know. That's quite a good one. We're Hachinov, though. Hachinov should come through it. Alex Diminer and Raonic. Diminer should come through it. I think he's just going to be too... I think he's going to be too reliable from the baseline, and Raonic will make a lot of errors. Yes, he might hit some good aces, but Diminer's a good returner as well. He's been in good form. Broken into the top 10. We'll go for him. Arnaldi to come through Walton. Kotov to Ridonek, Jarry, and Cordoba qualifies. Then with Quinton Hallis. Good to see him in the draw. He actually came in because Rafa Nadal dropped out, so he didn't have to play qualifying, so good on him. Eubanks to beat Taro Daniel. Taro Daniel's he's a difficult customer, though. Rublev to beat Seiboth Wild, or Seiboth Wild, I think it is. Rune to beat Nishioka. Zed to beat Kajo. Fields of Vesely. Yuri Vesely, the mortal enemy of Novak Djokovic. I'm going to go with Arthur Fields, I think. I think so. Arthur Fields. Let's go for him. And... right. Safiullin and Griekspoor. We'll go for Griekspoor. Ugo and Burr. Got him going through against qualifier. Jinjing Zhang to beat Korea. Shapovalov to get to the qualifier. Same with her catch. Dimitrov, you know what? Dimitrov is my dark horse for the Australian Open, and I haven't seen his full draw. We're going to go through it, I guess, although I have to be honest, he could lose his first round. If this was Dimitrov from last year, if I was doing the 2023 Australian Open, if I was doing the 2023 Australian Open draw preview and prediction video, I'm going with potentially Fucsovic caused the upset. But because Dimitrov's been in such good form, and I feel like I can trust him somewhat with Dimitrov. Kokonaka should be off now, though that's a tough one. 50-50. Borges beat Matera. Davidovich Fokina should be Lestian. Now, this is a great matchup. This is a match for redemption. Can Felix Auger-Aliassime, a young Canadian, after having a good 2022 season, but a pretty horrific 2023 season, from his standards anyway, pick himself up, dust himself off, and start off the year really well at the slams, beat Dominic Thiem, a former Grand Slam champion, and gain some confidence from it? Or will Dominic Thiem finally get somewhat a marquee name on his resume after his comeback, beating a seed in Felix Auger-Aliassime, and then also take that confidence into the rest of the tournament? I'm going to go for a little bit of a fairy tale here and go for Dominic Thiem to get through Felix. I just think if he's able to trap Felix in the backhand-to-backhand exchanges, he could have a lot of success. If Thiem plays how he played against Nadal in the first set of their match, I think he beats Felix. But if Felix plays anywhere near the level that he did in 2022, especially if he can find some of that indoor form, which I know it's not necessarily going to be indoors because it's an outdoor tournament, generally the Australian Open, he's going to be really, really, really dangerous. Look, he's gone deep at the Australian Open before, or at least the US Open anyway, and it should suit his game, but let's see. Whoever wins, I'll be happy. I like both players. Muller to be a qualifier, Russo to beat Kipps in the wildcard. Medvedev's got a qualifier, go for him. Zverev to get through his countryman Kepfer, very high off the win of the United Cup, of course. Sun Wukong to be a qualifier. Mikkelson will go to beat McCabe. Lehechka to beat Zapata Morales. Nori to beat Varelas. Lejovic and Purcell to beat qualifiers. Ruud to beat Ramos Vinolas. Tommy Paul to beat Barrera. Now, this is a tough one for Jack Draper. Marcus Giron is no slouch. I'm going to go for Draper. He's looked good in this week anyway, and I'm hoping he just stays fit. No niggles, and he should be fine. Manatri Watanuki, Struff to beat Hijikata. Man, I'm so looking forward to seeing Struff back. I just love his style. So exciting to watch. So very much looking forward to seeing him back in action. And Bublik's got a qualifier, so we'll go for him. McDonald to beat Shang. I'm going to go for Shang to beat McDonald. Evan Sonego. I'm going to go Sonego. Two unseeded players. Evans is tough though, actually, On a quick, hard court, he's dangerous. We'll go Sonego. Alcaraz beat Gasquet, the veteran. Now, Gasquet could be dangerous, could be somewhat difficult, but I just don't see Alcaraz having trouble with him. Right, second round. Djokovic beat Popyrin. He shouldn't have an issue there. Popyrin, a big server, big hitter, but I don't see him being beaten by Popyrin Djokovic, that is. Ooh, the Battle of the Veterans, Monfils, Murray. That's a fun matchup. We will go with Murray. We'll go Murray. Why not? Wawrinka, Shevchenko. I just think if Monfils wins, it's just going to be Djokovic's bunny again. So at least it would be nice to see Djokovic Murray. We haven't seen it since Murray's comeback, I don't think. We were robbed of it in one tournament. I forgot which one it was. We were very close to getting it, and Murray had to pull out. Wawrinka to beat Shevchenko. Shevchenko's dangerous, though, but I'm going to go for experience of a youth. Shelton to beat O'Connell. Fritz to beat Carlos Baena. Cerundolo to beat Marijan. Musetti to beat Van Ash. Yeah, okay. This to beat Thompson. Sinner to beat Cashin. Kubler to beat JJ Wolf. TFO to beat Machak. Hatchel to beat Tabilo. Dimona to beat Arnaldi. Jarry to beat Kotov. Korda Hallis is a tough one, Korda should not take this for granted. I'll go for Korda. Rublev to beat Eubanks. Runa to beat Ger. I'm going to go Arthur Fields to beat Griekspoor. He will beat the seeded Griekspoor, who's 28th in the seedings. On Bird to beat Zhijing Zhang. Hakac to beat Shapovalov. I think Shapovalov is just not back to 100% anyway, and I don't trust him whatsoever in terms of tennis. Dimitrov, Kokinakis, Dimitrov. Dimitrov's first two matches are not easy, by the way. Fuchsovic and Kokinakis, they're not easy matches. David Shrakina to beat Borges and Team to beat Alexander Muller. Rusevori and Medvedev should come through that. Zverev to beat Sunu Kwon. Lehechka to beat Mikkelsen. Norrie to beat Lejovic. Ruud to beat Purcell. Purcell could beat him, Telling you now, Ruud, I am not sold on whatsoever. I saw him hitting with Alcaraz. It did look pretty good, but hitting is just hitting, right? Hitting is just hitting in the sense that it's very easy to say someone looks good when they're hitting, but it's very different to an actual match. Tommy Paul Draper. I feel like Draper could struggle in this one just because of the physicality that Paul brings to the table. I'm going to go for the upset. I'm going to go Jack Draper. Everyone knows that I like Jack Draper, so a bit of bias probably involved. But you know what? I'm not going to apologize for it. And he does have talent, so I'm going to go for Draper. Struff to beat Kecmanovic. Bublik to beat Shang. Alcaraz to beat Sonego. Right, it's going to start getting very interesting. Yeah, here we go. Djokovic Murray. As a Brit, I'd love to say that Murray has a chance. He might take a set of Djokovic if he's lucky, but I don't see anything more than that. Wawrinka Shelton. This is an interesting one. Wawrinka could cause Shelton some issues if he's playing well. I'm going to go with Shelton. I just feel like the faster hard courts, Wawrinka might struggle with the serve a little bit. And he might not get a huge amount of opportunities to break. And in tiebreakers, I feel Shelton is, from what I've seen, definitely the favourite. Fritz to beat Cerundolo. Okay, fine. Tsitsipas to beat Musetti. Sinner to beat Kubler. TFO Hachinov. I'm going to go Hachinov to beat TFO. TFO, since that US Open 2022 run, has been very up and down, and he just hasn't really instilled a lot of confidence that he's going to be able to go super deep. Now, I actually asked on X who thinks how far do you think Alex de Minaur is going to go? I asked, and I said quarterfinals wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility. I think that would be, a good run, but I don't think it's impossible. But Nicolas Jarry is a very, very, in my opinion, tough third round. Very tough. I'm going to go for Nicolas Jarry to win. I just think his serve and the way that he hits at the moment is really tough to combat. Alex de Minaur has been playing some great tennis. It's going to be attack against defense, to be honest, in the simplest terms. It'll be an exciting matchup. I hope we get it. De Minaur could easily win 50-50 in my book. Korda Rublev is also 50-50, despite the seeding difference. Rublev at 5, Korda at 29. I'm going to go for Rublev. I'm going to trust that Rublev will do it. Although Korda did beat Medvedev, of course, last year at the Australian Open, so could he be another Russian in Rublev this time? Maybe. Rune feels I'm going to go for Rune. Umber Hakac, I'm going to go for Hakac. Hakac, by the way, should have a good run at the Australian Open. He's due one. The courts, in my opinion, should be suited to his game. He should have a good run. Dimitrov to beat Danic Fokina. Again, Dimitrov's matchups are not easy. Medvedev to beat Team. I think he'll frustrate Team a lot. Zverev to beat Lehechka. Rude to beat Nori. Actually, no, I'm going to go Nori. I'm going to go Nori to beat Rude. Not set, and I'm not convinced with Rude whatsoever. Draper Struff. I'm going to go Draper. And Alcaraz beat Bublik. Alcaraz, I know Bublik on paper, see number 31, you think, yeah, Alcaraz should definitely win. He should win, but Bublik is not easy by any stretch. And he's a difficult player to come up against. He's got a lot of firepower. A repeat of the semi-final US Open matchup between Djokovic and Shelton for the round of 16. I'm going to go for repeat and Djokovic to hold up the phone or put down the phone on Shelton again. Fritz Tsitsipas will go Tsitsipas. Sinner to come through Khachanov. Rublev to come through Jarry. Oh, Rune a catch. Oh, I hope we get this. This would be a great match. It's tough. Just trying to think who'd get through this. I just hope her catch isn't taking too much to heart about that loss against Zverev where he had match points at the United Cup. And I was really impressed with some of his level for parts of 2023. I'm just hoping that he can replicate that, in my opinion. I'm hoping that he can replicate that at a slam, and he hasn't really done that yet, in all honesty, whereas Rune has at least gone deeper, so we'll see. I'm going to go with... her catch. Whisper it quietly, but I'm going with her catch. Rune would be the favourite, but I'm going to go her catch. Dimitrov, Medvedev. This could be a difficult one for Medvedev, but I just think, unfortunately for Dimitrov, coming up against Medvedev and the backhand-to-backhand exchanges are going to be a nightmare for Dimi. It's a real shame because, in all honesty, his route looks pretty horrific, in all honesty. So I'm going to go for Medvedev. Zverev to come through Nori, and Alcaraz should beat Draper. Could be a fun one, but he should win it. So now we're into quarterfinals. Those are fourth round matchups. So quarterfinals, wow, who have I picked? Basically all the seeds. How boring for me. Djokovic, Tsitsipas. Djokovic, why am I even thinking about it? Sinner to beat Rublev. Don't see Rublev beating Sinner. Hakac Medvedev is an interesting. We'll get to that in a second. Zverev Alcaraz. I tell you what, Zverev could beat Alcaraz. He could on this surface. I'm going to go for Zverev to beat Alcaraz. I'm just going to pick it. And it goes completely against my Grand Slam predictions at the start of the year where I picked Alcaraz to win the Australian Open, mainly because at the time when I made them, Djokovic seemed to be struggling with his wrist. Nadal looked like he was struggling as well with his hip, and neither were confirmed to be in or out of the Australian Open. Obviously, now we know Nadal's not going to be playing. Djokovic's wrist still might be an issue, but I saw him hitting with, who was it? Zverev, and he looked razor sharp. And Alcaraz hasn't played the Australian Open in a couple of years. He could win it. He could. I think if he had a kinder draw, I'd be a bit more convinced. And the fact that he adapted to the indoor conditions pretty well, the fact that he's won the US Open before, so clearly yes, the courts are not as quick as the Australian Open, but they're still relatively quick. And the fact that he won a slam on it means that he is capable. But I'm going to go for Zverev to be Alcaraz. I just think Zverev is not the easiest matchup for Alcaraz, in all honesty. And then Hakac Medvedev. Zverev beat him at the ATP Tour Finals. He beat him at Roland Garros as well. Not last year, but the year before. So clearly it's not the easiest matchup for Alcaraz. And especially on a quick court. Hakac Medvedev is where I'm really stuck because two big servers, two really good backhands. The forehands can be unreliable at times. Hakac is better than that. Medvedev, incredibly defensive. Incredibly good defensively. Also great returner. I can't really say the same about Hakac. Medvedev is the safe money, but I'm going to go for Hakac. So I've gone big for Hakac, big for Zverev. And Djokovic Sinner. I just get the feeling that if anyone's going to beat Novak Djokovic, it's going to be Jannik Sinner. That's at the Australian Open. Hakac and Zverev is an interesting one. And obviously, we just saw the United Cup. So the question would be, is Hakac able to get past that kind of mental battle that he'll have with himself over losing match points to Zverev and then going on to lose the match? Can he pick himself up, dust himself up, and go again? Will Zverev make his first ever Australian Open final? I mean, it'll be a first ever Australian Open final for 3 out of these 4 players. Djokovic has won it 10 times. I'm going to go with Hubert Hakac. It's a big call. And then Djokovic Sinner. Djokovic's the big favourite. Can Sinner stop him on a hard court is really the question. On an outdoor hard court. Is it on an indoor hard court? Can you do it on an outdoor hard court? I'd like to say yes, because as much as I love Djokovic, it would be good to have a new champion. But I'm going to go Djokovic. Djokovic Hakac final. I think it might be close, but I think Djokovic would win it. So I've gone for a pretty boring pick. Apologies, but it's just fallen that way. I've gone for Djokovic to win the Australian Open, the first Grand Slam of the year. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to hit that like button. Do subscribe if you're new. And do leave a rating or review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Also, shout out to our members. You can become a member by hitting that join button. It really helps us out. And also do remember to share the videos. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you later.